Hey, what's up, guys? Cooted here, and today I have another raid gameplay. I know I uploaded that double swarm on raid, but this is a scrim of me and the boys from wWW1. We're playing against RaW right now. As you know, RaW is obviously a clan, a PlayStation clan, pretty well known in competitive on ground war, competitive ground war, or 9v9 ground war, whatever you want to call it. But in the video, I'm going to be using a target finder FAL with flag jacket, toughness, hardwired, and extreme conditioning or dexterity or attack mask. It's one of those. I switched up the classes quite a bit. If you're wondering why I'm using the target finder FAL is, if you guys don't know, in CBs and scrims, it plays a lot different from regular ground war. So I kept my streaks low, especially because I'm playing OBJ. I'm always trying to be near B flag, always trying to defend, always trying to capture something. So I'm keeping my streaks lower. Obviously, that C4 works very well. So what I'm trying to do right now is, because it's me my first CB, this is only like my second or third scrim I ever played in my life for ground war. I'm just trying to understand spawns, how to understand how people play, trying to figure out what weapons work, what weapons don't work. This Saturday, for the CB, I'm top 9. So what you're going to be seeing me use, you're probably going to see me use this specific class like this. I'm going to be obviously playing OBJ, and the weapons I'm going to use, I've tried out a bunch of different things. My worst map personally is probably Plaza. My best map is either Raid or Yemen. The problem I'm having with Plaza is I'm having trouble getting a really good initial push. Like, I can get on that B flag for the cap, but getting set up is the difficulty for me. I think it's the FAO not being very good at close range, so I'm going to switch over to an AN, or I might just switch over to an MP7. I've been using the MP7 quite a bit. I don't have an MP7 gameplay for you guys on ground war because I've only recorded a few scrims. You guys in wWW1 made sure that only I could only record certain gameplays. We don't want to give away all our secrets, but pretty much I'm just going ham on the B flag. I believe this is the red camo. I got these the other day recently for free off my friend, which works out pretty good. And trust me, this target finder FAL just goes fucking ham. It's kind of overpowered, but in ground war, nothing's disabled. The other team can use it as well. But and the topic of the video was, my friend wanted me to talk about pro tips. My boy bass player, so shout out to bass player. He's getting into competitive and stuff, so he just wanted to know some pro tips that go into league play. So I know I'm talking about league play on a ground war gameplay, but it's whatever though. So the pro tips I could give to you guys in general, I'll make a league play gameplay just to talk about obviously the league play modes like CTF, search and destroy, that kind of thing. This is going to go for generally speaking, including this game, past CODs, and Ghost, because obviously I'm not going to give you tips how to play search in just this game when this game is old. So we're not going to talk about, so in this episode of this, or this part of this, we're just going to talk about respawn game mode. In the next video, which will be probably a league play search and destroy and express I think I went 9-3 against masters, like a master rank 9 or whatever. We're going to talk about non-respawn game modes in that, search and destroy, maybe even CTF in that one. So the one tips I could give to you about respawn is, the biggest thing I can tell you about respawn is winning your gunfights is pretty much everything. Winning gunfights in respawn, especially in CTF or hardpoint, especially in Ghost domination, is you got to win your gunfights. Your teammates are going to depend on you. If you lose a gunfight, you're giving up the objective. Especially if you're an OBJ player or a player who's defending an objective, you got to win all your gunfights. That's the number one thing I could give you. And we could break this into a few things here, how you can win gunfights better. Well, you can walk around already, aim down sight corners, read your radar. You can try to sound horror footsteps, but obviously if you're playing ground war like this, you're not going to be able to hear footsteps, all the shooting, all the explosions. But you want to just kind of listen for gunshot noises, look at your radar. You just want to be aware of where your teammates are on the radar. Obviously, you see a teammate watching your flank. You don't want to watch the flank with him. The other thing I could give you a tip about is, you don't always want to sprint. That's the key thing, is you don't want to sprint at all. You really, obviously you want to sprint to the objective, but once you know you're approaching an enemy, you don't want to be in the sprint animation. That's why dexterity is a really good perk. Get that gun off your hip a lot faster. If you pair that up with quick draw, it's double as good, so that works out very well. The other pro tip I could give to you guys about respawn game modes, besides winning gunfights and knowing when and when not to sprint, is you want to be able to not be afraid to die either. Even though you want to try to win gunfights and play as proficiently as possible, and try to be as tactical as possible without giving up too many deaths, is one thing you could do definitely. Is you could don't be afraid to die. That's the one thing I could give to you guys in game modes like hardpoint or domination where there's no spawn timer, you shouldn't be afraid to die. But there's two differences in being afraid to die and dying too much. Not being afraid to die means that, say they're on the hill, right? You jump at it to contest it, to try to cause them to lose some time. But you don't want to constantly jump on it to the point where they're just getting streaks off you. You're just feeding them streaks. So there's a difference, I guess. It's kind of like a difficult thing, you could say, to think. It's really a lot to take in and think about. By playing really hard OBJ, you run the risk of giving them streaks, but by playing very slow OBJ, you give them too many points. So initially, it comes down to the sole purpose of how good your team is. Obviously, if you're an OBJ player, oh, excuse me, I just ate dinner, so I'm really burpy right now. Anyway, if you're an OBJ player and you're playing with no slayers, it's going to be really hard for you to play OBJ without slayers. And for me, what my objective is with wWW1, what my role is because like I said, I'm still new to Ground War, with the competitive scene of Ground War. So I'm just trying to get everything set up right, my shots. I'm obviously a little bit nervous because it's my first couple scrims, first couple CBs. I'm trying to impress, trying to hold the spot down. But obviously what my role is I play objective, and after I get objective, I try to hold down a spot, like how you saw me in kitchen before, trying to hold down kitchen, defending A, try to defend flags. I try to do my best on the flags. And that's the other pro tip I could give to you guys in respawn game modes. Know your role. Say if you're an OBJ player, you don't want to be trying to anchor. If you have a sub, you need the right class for the right what's the word I'm looking for? You need the right class for the right time. Obviously, if you have 3 OBJ players on your team using subs, you don't want to be a 4th OBJ player using a sub. You want to go back with an anchor, with an AR, or you want to defend flags with an AR, or maybe you can use an MP7, which has a little bit longer range than, let's say, the MSMC, defend flags a little bit more. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to help your team out. That's called adapting. It's adapting to your play style. The other thing I could tell you about respawn game modes, other tips, pro tip about respawn game modes, is you kind of want to play for streaks, but like I said, this all comes into a play here. I already talked about not being afraid to die, trying not to die too much, but also trying to get on that OBJ as quick as possible. So the pro tip that I could give to you guys is if you are halfway to your streaks within the first 2 minutes, then chances are you can streak these guys. Even the first minute, you can streak them. And that is up to your discretion if you want to sacrifice your streaks to play OBJ, or you want to play for your streaks to make the game easier. Because in competitive ground war like this, a lightning strike can make or break the game. Because once you get a VSAT up in this, it just goes ham. But obviously, if you play a rule set like 4v4, anything like MLG variant, GB variant, rule set, anything around there, some game modes have streaks off, some game modes have streaks on. If there's streaks off and you're playing hardpoint or any kind of objective-based game mode that has respawn, you shouldn't worry about dying too much if streaks are off. But for the sake of the video, we're going to be talking about like league play, either in Advanced Warfare or this game when it comes out. If in this game they have streaks on, pretty sure Advanced Warfare will have streaks on. I don't see why they would turn them off because there's no specialist. So what would end up happening is you would have to be aware, I guess you could say, of what you're doing and always be ready. And if there's streaks on, doesn't matter how many times you die. If streaks are on, you got to be careful. You don't want to die too much, but you don't want to play like a pussy, to be honest. Like, that's the one thing with competitive ground war. If you play like a pussy, they're going to run up on B and they're going to take B from right under you. So you want to be quick. You want to be aggressive, but you want to be smart on who you challenge. You need to know the players in the lobby, know who's doing what, know your teammates very well. And I did a really good job of what I was doing in this video. I was playing OBJ. I went 33-14 with 8 defense, which is a really good gameplay. Insidious was playing OBJ too, 47-33, 1 cap, 7 defense, but he was trying to push them back. As I was sitting, after we cap flagged, Insidious would run up. I hang back. Hope you enjoy. It was cool, dude.